Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It really depends on the place you are. You see, I came to Chicago. This is great. And why I came to Chicago? Just to meet with Avidan Halivni and also my friend Marcelo Kormis, which I left him in Santiago, Chile. But anyway, we are very close friends. And I would like to welcome both of you because we today we will talk of a real good thing, which is the Moishe House. The Moishe House, but I don't need to explain it. But before we start, a coffee with Cabana is sponsored by the Jewish German Museum in Santiago, Chile. And also, guys, you can watch this on YouTube and also Spotify. So we are very well covered. Welcome, Avidan. Welcome, Marcelo, to this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be with you, Roberto. It's great to be with you, Avidan. Thank you.
So, Avidan, can you explain to our people what is the Jewish Learning Collaborative of the Moishe House?
Excellent. So the Jewish Learning Collaborative is a project designed to connect staff and board members of Jewish organizations to opportunities for one-on-one customized Jewish learning in a way that centers their own interests and goals. This was an initiative that started within Moishe House, first as an internal staff offering, and was successful enough, impactful enough internally that we started offering it out to other Jewish organizations, first in North America and now slowly around the world, as a benefit that they can offer to their people. Sometimes as professional development, right? Let's say you want to be working on a project related to your work. You want more information about Jewish holidays or Shabbat or the communities you serve. That's one good use of this opportunity. And sometimes it's about exploring the questions that are on your mind as a whole person, questions of spirituality, Judaism with your own family or in your own home, justice and ethics, all of those topics. You can pair with a Jewish educator of your choosing and do chavruta style co-created studying together as part of the workday.
How many programs do you have at this time?
Right now, we have over 35 different Jewish organizational partners and 450 plus learners at any given moment. Some go up and down, but generally that's where we are in this moment, always growing.
Okay, and Marcelo, how did you go to the Moishe House and started doing this nice project?
So about 2 years ago, I reached out to Jewish Learning Collaborative, and we started our journey together. They were looking for educators back then. I think they wanted to increase the pool of educators, and I was looking to more online teaching. So it was a wonderful match, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I've had during these 2 years to be part of this incredible organization. As Avidan just said, I think that this is a gift. This is a gift to the Jewish people, basically. So as organizations and institutions, they spend money and resources, with benefits for their people within their organizations. So I think that, organizations are also taking care of the soul, the neshama, also taking care of the Jewish perspective of the people who work with them. And therefore, I think it's a wonderful gift. It's a wonderful opportunity for staff members and leading people within organizations to study. And it's, 1 hour a week that you get it as a gift, where you can, get off from everything that you're doing, focus on studying, and you can study about different topics, as Avidan just said. So myself, I have been teaching about a variety of topics. So, for example, Jewish law, Jewish holidays, Pirkei Avot. I also teach modern Hebrew. We studied with one of my learners about the Ladino culture. So we talked about Ladino music. We talked about Europe and how the Sephardic tradition is celebrated today. So it's really a wonderful opportunity for people to strengthen their Jewish identity within their organizations.
So it's a one-to-one program, or it's a one-to-many people? I mean, when you're
yeah. So in my experience, I have been studying one-on-one. So and I believe that that's the goal of Jewish learning, in a sense that you want this Hevruta style study, that you are one-on-one and you are paired with someone who would like to study with you. And it's not only Jewish people, within Jewish organizations. So you have non-Jewish people who are working there and would like to know more about Jewish tradition, right? So they are there and they hear about Rosh Hashanah, they hear about Passover, they hear about Israel. So they would like to know more about that. And it's a wonderful opportunity for institutions to strengthen, the knowledge of their non-Jewish members as well.
And Avidan, how does it work in the US? And then I will go to South America, talking about the same question with Marcelo. Do you have, how do you promote your lessons? Because I've been looking what you're doing, and it's really great. You have many topics, and how do you relate with your audience and with your learners?
So here's the way it works. An organization will bring this program to their team and partner with us. And the way it works also financially is our funding covers half the cost of the educator's salary, and the organizations cover half the cost. So that's the arrangement, because the educators do get paid for their teaching. Each interested learner, and it's always optional, meets with me for a 30-minute conversation at the beginning of their journey, because I'm the matchmaker. That's my job. my job is...
He's a wonderful matchmaker, I've got to tell you.
And that has been a very important part of the model, that it's not an accident who your teacher, who your chavruta is in this opportunity. So in that conversation, a new learner, a new staff member will say to me, here's who I am, here's my experience with Jewish learning, here are some things I'm interested in thinking about. Sometimes this is who I'm interested in thinking about, and we do encourage people to share their preferences, right? Is it someone who is in a similar life stage or in a different life stage, or someone who shares your denominational affiliation or gender or sexuality or geographic location, right? Sometimes, I've met everyone in my area, but I have yet to meet someone in California or in London or in Santiago. And so that because all the learning takes place on Zoom, this is an amazing opportunity for different parts of the Jewish community to meet each other. And so through that conversation, a learner will communicate what they want, and I will make some recommendations of educators who I think could be a good fit. Ultimately, the choice is theirs. And then once they pair together, the learner and the educator start creating their path of study. And sometimes, it takes a little bit of time. You get to know each other. This is working, this is not working. But you build the relationship through these meetings. And over time, really develop a closeness, I think, through this study.
So what you're doing as a matchmaker, you're gathering together both, the teacher and the learner, and Yeah, it doesn't mean that if someone from California would like to talk with someone in New York, I mean, it's okay for you, is that right?
Sure, that's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
even more.
Okay.
I'm currently in Chile, and I have students from Colorado. I have students from Dallas, Texas. I have students from New York. I have students from all around the U.S. And we study together once a week.
I think
Once a week.
in this world where online relationships in business or in community where that has become normal, this is a great way to take advantage of the ease with which someone can take an hour of their week and do some Torah learning on Zoom in between meetings.
Yeah, just one question, which I would like to get deeper. So the cost for the learner is half, or who's going to pay for this one?
For the learner, it's free. This is a free.
Okay.
This is a free
I
benefit.
wanted to double check this one. So, guys, let me do, guys, if you listen to us, this is free and this is a Jewish gift. Okay, come on, Avidan. So it's a free gift that a guy will be able to learn from a real good teacher like Marcelo and others. Education from different topics about the Jewish people around the world. Is that right?
It's free because their organizations, their place of work, cover the cost for them. So that's why it's an investment in Jewish leaders, the leaders of Jewish communities, from the communities themselves. We have a small pilot for independent learners, and we're working on getting those costs down too. But for now, we're starting with the leaders because, and I should say this clearly, the mission and our vision for this project is that the leaders of the Jewish communities have access and have a relationship with the thousands of years of Jewish wisdom that is part of our tradition.
Absolutely. Great, Marcelo. And you told me that you were talking with or teaching guys in the U.S., Colorado, and other places. Anyone in South America?
Yes. So Moishe House, and there is a deep relationship between Moishe House and Jewish Learning Collaborative. So Jewish Moishe House has a presence also in South America. So we have houses in Brazil, we have houses in Argentina, and we started one house here in Chile. So there is a deep connection, between both organizations, and therefore I have learners. I currently have one, Kevin from Argentina. So yes, we are looking to expand, our presence here in Latin America. So this is really an invitation for different institutions and organizations who would like to give, this gift of 1 hour a week, or could be more, but 1 hour, at least 1 hour a week for, the members of their organizations, which could be a synagogue, could be an Jewish institution, right? To give them the gift of studying 1 hour a week with a wonderful group of educators. And I would like to highlight, Rabbi Hannah Bonheim, who is, the leader of this project. And she does a wonderful job leading this organization. So I think that she's a wonderful resource also for all of us here.
So how can we invite the Jewish organizations in South America, or specifically in Chile, to join your program? Because for me, it's amazing that you're doing this one, and I would like to have many people following your, let's say, courses, or we need to have more learners in Latin America, and we need to invite those guys. But how do you think that we should approach these organizations, Avidan?
I think the question to ask is, what kind of investment do you want to make in your leaders? Right? How do you want to make your organization the best place to work for people, Jewish people, not Jewish people, but the leaders that are shaping the future of the Jewish community? And how do you want to make sure they have the resources to succeed professionally, and the mentorship and the access to those teachers? And how do you want to take care of them as whole people? I mean, there are questions that, books we've always wanted to read, or, TV shows, podcasts, you come across an idea and you say, oh, I wonder, I'd like to get to that one day. And so this is a gift that you can give to your people, to say, this is the time to do that project, to take some time out of your week to recharge, to focus on yourself as a learner, and then to get the inspiration and the energy to go back into the rest of the work week, feeling good about the mission, feeling connected to your colleagues, feeling connected to the communities that you serve, and also having this relationship with a friendly and non-judgmental educator. I mean, these relationships, these chavruta style relationships, are so special, and we have pairs that have been learning together for 6 months, for 10 months, for a year, longer, and so you really have a chance to build these special relationships and continue growing as a thinker, as a Jew, as a person, and so on.
Mr. Avidan, Mr. Matchmaker, I have one more question for you. Is that which are the courses? I know Ashkenazi culture, ethics. What else?
Excellent. So we've now been doing this project for, let's say, 4 years now. And what we've observed, based on the real data that the educators and the learners submit to us, that there are a couple of major topic areas, and each one has subtopics and subtopics, of course.
Yes.
So the biggest one, I would say, I call text and tradition. And those are topics that you would find on a classical Jewish bookshelf. You can do Parashat HaShavua, the weekly Torah portion. You can study Mishnah and Talmud at any level, from beginner to expert. You can do contemporary Jewish thoughts and philosophy. So anything that you would find on the bookshelf or on Sefaria.com, the digital Jewish bookshelf. A second group I call foundations or fundamentals of Jewish life. And this is someone who feels like, I know a little bit about what Judaism is, but I'd really like to make sure I know the basics, the essentials. And so you can do the Jewish calendar and the holidays. You can do Hebrew, like Marcelo is doing with many of his learners. You can do key biblical stories. You can do Jewish community work, sociology, demographics, Jewish history, history of Israel, those basics. And then a handful of other side topics, which sometimes are the main focus and sometimes you just jump in and out. Spirituality and wellness, family life, parenting, weddings, bar mitzvahs, grief and loss, right? If you are coming up to one of those moments in your life, to spend some time really thinking about it, and looking at the Jewish sources, ask the questions with someone who maybe has done it before you or is working professionally in those settings. Ethics, environmentalism, musar, justice, and then of course Jewish identity. And sometimes that's just broadly speaking Jewish identity, and sometimes it's about the intersection of Judaism and another identity. Judaism and feminism, Judaism and LGBT issues, Judaism and questions of race. And so we have educators, and we've worked hard to find educators from all over the world and all over these identity maps, so that whoever you are in an intake conversation and you say, I would love to study with someone like this, we will do our best to match you with someone like that, either by their identities or their expertise, or things of that nature.
I would like to add one. I would like to add one thing, Roberto. So there are many places, right, and especially online, where you can get all of these topics, right? So
yes,
you can go online and you can, sign up to one institute. You can sign up to even one university. You can study all of these topics, somewhere else. I think that the particularity and the beauty of this project is that, first of all, it's not a rigid it's not a rigid program, meaning you meet with the learner, you both decide what you want to do, what's the pace, what's the text, what's the level. So it's really customized for the needs of the people, which is something that you won't find someplace else, because everything usually, is set on stone, and you have to do this, and you have to take this much classes, and right. So, but here it's much more flexible, and it's beyond what I can tell you from my perspective, working with the learners now for a year and a half with some people. I can tell you that it's not only about the text. It is more about the relationship that you build with that person. It's like a one-on-one chevruta with a person that you become friends. I'm friend with some of my learners by now. So, and I know part of their lives, and I know what they do, what they didn't do, where they go, where they didn't go. So I think that that's the beauty of this program, and is that you create a connection, a deep connection with those who are learning with you.
So it's a person to person, which is
Correct.
It is really much better that go online. I want to do this one, click, and then you pay that. But you go to someone you may never know, or it's a big group. In here, it's a good relationship between the teacher and the learner, and this is what you're building. And when you were talking about the list of the different topics, it's like going to a restaurant and you open the restaurant and
Right.
This is all the plates you have here, plus one more thing. It's free. It's free? Yeah. Plus
And
you get another thing.
it's tasty.
And it's, yes. And the tasty thing is that you will get a friend as you are learning with that person. That teacher will become a friend, and then now we are building a community because when we start doing these kind of things, we are building communities around the world. There are no borders, there are no barriers. You can be in Santiago, Buenos Aires, Paris, or Chicago, and then you start, gathering together and listening and learning. So I think it's a great thing. One more thing.
If I can say on that topic,
yeah, please.
Just on the topic of building relationships, there is a line from the Mishnah that serves as our statement of educator ethos, right? The way we see the relationships between these pairs. So the line in English, and I hope the Spanish will show up too, is
Yes.
that you should acquire for yourself a teacher and get for yourself a friend.
Right.
And in Hebrew, right, aselecha rav uknelecha chaver. And I think I switched the get and the acquire.
That's fine.
But,
Yes, sorry.
and the idea is, in the JLC chavruta pairings, those are the same person. That you have both a rav and a chaver through these relationships. And the last line of that Mishnah is that you should greet everyone fairly, non-judgmentally, and that also is part of the ethos. Is that no question is too far off for the learning, and your educator is there to welcome those questions and to build that course of study, build that relationship. And so it's a very special thing to have both Rav and Chaver together in the same
nice.
person.
Very nice. One question, Avidan, and I would like, how can we invite people to join your place? I mean, let us know about if you have a website, or they need to write an email, or they can contact whatever Marcelo. How they do it?
Absolutely. So our website is www.jewishlearningcollab.org, and we can put that in the notes.
Yes.
And there's a place to contact us and write an email and open a conversation. I would say for organizations, the easiest way to do it is if you are an organization, and especially if you have some authority over budget and the offerings for your staff. Open that conversation with us, and we can talk about what it would be like to bring this network, to bring these educators to your organization. Separately, well, I'll also say if you are a staff member or a board member at the organizations, you should still write to us and open the conversation, because then we can continue it with the organizations, right? So even just one person to say, I want to do this, that's a good start. And that we can take it from there. I'll also say, if you are an individual or an independent learner, we can also have that conversation. We still need to make sure that the educator gets paid, but we can figure all of that out together. Yeah. And the last piece of it, if you are an educator, if you are a Jewish educator who loves doing this type of relationship-oriented, customized teaching and learning with the Chavruta, you should also reach out to us. We are always looking to expand the educator network, especially in Central and South America, right? If we're going to expand into the Spanish-speaking world, we need Spanish-speaking educators. Not always, but it's nice to have. And so that is an important piece of growth for us as well.
Good. Marcelo, a message of hope about this program?
Yes, I know that your program is becoming very famous. Roberto, I know that you have hundreds and hundreds of viewers, and I know that you are always interviewing people who are doing some cutting edge things, and entrepreneurs and people who are, trying to bring something new to the world. Specifically in our case, it is something, that can really bring a deep and important contribution to Jewish communities around the world. So, as I said, this is a gift, right? It's a gift that is there for everyone to take it, to enjoy it, to taste it, and to make it part of your life. And I think that under the current circumstances that we, the Jewish people, are living now around the world, one way of fighting that back is strengthening our Jewish identity. And I think that one of the best tools that we have to strengthen our Jewish identity is studying. So I would like to invite everyone to join us, to be part of this wonderful program, and to thank you for having us today.
And well, I need to say something before we leave, because we are almost to 30 minutes. Avidan loves basketball, and Marcelo likes soccer. And Avidan, yeah, he loves to learn new languages. And Marcelo, because he's in Chile, he likes to cook American-style barbecue, which is called asado. He's a great asado maker. So, well, thank you very much for your words. I mean, it has been a great podcast. And I hope many people will join and will call you and will write to the Moishe House and to the Jewish Learning Collaborative Program. Thank you very much for both of you. Guys, see you in another coffee with Kavanah. And I will be flying to another place around the world just to meet with Jewish people. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.